Welcome to another episode. Dr. James Beckett, Sports Card Insights, here with Tim Getsch. We're going to talk about COMC and the experience there. I'm more on an advanced seller. I don't know that I'm a huge volume seller, but I'm not one of the smaller accounts there. But I'm talking to the founder and the person that makes it all happen. So we're going to go back and forth about how we can optimize the selling experience at COMC. But first, I have other sponsors besides COMC: Topps Panini and Upper Deck, Heritage Auctions, Huggins and Scott Auctions, Mike Stadium Sports Cards, Burbank Sports Cards, COMC obviously, and Beckett Media and all those related entities. So, Tim, you sell on COMC. Mm-hmm. You say you started COMC kind of because you thought a service like what you created would have been good for not just you but for others. Mm-hmm. I've benefited from it, but what do you want to share with us about some of the how you optimize your experience? Yeah. And again, I think we're talking about all above board stuff, not any sneaky stuff, but that you've made offers to me, which I've generally accepted for cards that Earl Hershiser cards you wanted. So.
Yeah, I have a few different scenarios that I use COMC for as a seller. I literally started COMC with an account which is now Low Price Cards. The original website was lowpricecards.com. I was buying cards off eBay, and I had a historical record of exactly what I paid from all the eBay sales data. Mm-hmm. And then I would list them on my website, which became the first account on COMC. And so I have that scenario of just buying off eBay, buying in bulk, scenarios, figuring out how to optimize buying, keeping meticulous records of what I bought it for, and then just seeing how much I could sell it for. And that was actually the first time in my life that I actually made money.
And you could document.
Yeah, I actually bought the cards for.
Did that take the fun out of it for you, or did that add to the fun?
No, that was like the holy grail. That was what I was trying to do. That was why I collected as a kid. Okay. I was looking for. I had all these friends that were making money or saying they were making money, and I would keep records of how much I paid for stuff, and then I was just never able to get a big enough audience to sell it to actually make money. So with Low Price Cards, I think I spent about $30,000 on eBay auctions over a few year period, and then I took all that and put it into the
What do you mean by bulk? Bulk? Are you talking about player lots? Or are you talking about or clumps of multi-sport, or were they purposeful?
The niche that I found on eBay was sellers that were regularly listing lots. And there's one particular seller that would do about 100 auctions, maybe 200 auctions a week, but everything was a lot. It was maybe 5 to 100 cards. Typically, he would go to a set and like a parallel, platinum, gold, whatever, some parallel, and he would have these 30 cards that are from that, and he'd sell that as a lot. And I would
randomly grouped.
Yeah.
Not team.
In fact, he didn't even always put the players in the lot. He would just put the card numbers. So you had to go look up what those card numbers were in order to figure out what is a good price to bid on it. So he would have a lot of auctions that went relatively inexpensively. So my thing, I wrote a bunch of code to look through all of his auctions, quickly look up all of the data for it, and then I would bid a certain percentage of book value, which was actually the Beckett value. So I looked up all the information in Beckett, had the price, and I would say, all right, I like basketball. I'm willing to pay 10% of book value for a random lot of 20 cards. Football, not really a big fan. I'll pay 4% of book value. And so that's how I got the inventory that went into Low Price Cards. In fact, the concept of Low Price Cards is I would put it at the low price point of Beckett. But that ended up becoming the first account.
I should be able to tell people when they say the low price was meaningless. I say, no, it wasn't. And now I have a good example that it is. Well, that's not what I mean by bulk. Mm-hmm. Now, bulk, $30,000 is bulk, but it sounds like you made small purchases.
So I would bid this guy.
But if it's algorithmic or somehow automated, that's different. But I've never bought that way. I've accumulated by buying much more randomly larger lots.
In this particular case, I would bid on all, say, 200 auctions he would list in a week, and I would win 100 of them. Okay. No one else would win more than 2 or 3, but I would win 100 of them.
And you'd combine the shipping?
And I'd have to pay $5 shipping. Okay. And then it got to a point where the person he employed to create the listings went to start their own card shop, so he didn't have that person. So for the next year, he just sent me cards. He would just send me cards. I would tell him what he sent me, and I'd pay him 6 or 7% of book value based on what he sent me. So in that case, it was just like he was buying collections. He would send them to me, and then I would pay him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm doing something sort of like that, except that, and when I go to the National and I go to like a table that has stuff that would be like that, if Rob Veras has already been there, and has expressed interest in buying the whole table, I said, well, Rob, can I take a peek? Or he said, yeah, buy as many as you want. I'm going to take whatever's left. And basically, he's used me to his advantage, to where when I've bought a few things off the top, he crushes the price for the guy who says, that guy that just left, cherry picked all this good stuff. And so I want an additional deep discount. And he almost always wins. So he's laughing all the way to the bank. But to me, that's bulk. Yeah. And so what I've done is I don't really want to buy cards. I don't want to buy bulk that I can't transact unless I tend to keep them because they're a player that I want to build on. So it sounds like are you more that way now, or are you too busy to do that?
I have a few other scenarios that I try, but that I don't really do that scenario more, even though that's probably very successful.
Even so, did you at that point have a floor that if you bought these cards and you got these 30 gold medallions or whatever they are, and out of the 30, 20 of them are not on COMC, and the other 10 are, but maybe those 10 are on COMC at a very low price. Yeah. So what did you do?
I mean, I didn't have to deal with that because I was the first one on COMC.
So wait a minute, let me get this straight. You didn't pay 30 cents. You didn't pay a penny a month.
Factoring in all of our fees.
You probably paid far more than that.
Yeah, I know. Factoring in all of our fees, that account did make money. So storage fees, processing fees, that account would come out positive. It did get the advantage of being on COMC early and not having the competition.
Right.
So the strategy is definitely going to be different than it was when I first started. And so personally, my scenarios, I will dig through boxes and find things, but I'm not buying things in bulk. Usually I'll go through someone's dollar box.
It takes a lot of time.
It does. That I only do for fun. That I'm doing because I'm looking for players that I enjoy watching, and I'll buy 5 of their rookie cards and sell off several of them. Rather than looking at it as a way to make money, I'm looking at it as a way to tangibly touch the cards, hunt through things, enjoy collecting.
Okay. Well, just so we're full disclosure here, I'm actually gamifying it. Okay. Because I don't think I'm doing it for the money. I'm doing it and it's not even the thrill. It's just the game.
Yeah.
If I look through some cards, I don't want to just go to a museum and look through cards and look at the cards. If I look at 100 cards, I'd like to buy a few, but which few? Yeah. And I need to be able to know when you see it, you've got to say, yeah, this strike. I'm going for it. And so my gamification is, am I right more often than I'm wrong? But I need to be right a lot more than I'm wrong. But to occasionally miss is part of the deal. Okay. So my challenge to you is, what do I do with these cards that I can't sell on COMC? They're still good cards.
Yeah. That's a great question. Right now, I've thought,
because I have lots. It's groups, and I guess eBay's probably a good choice. But you're scanning of every card. I mean, if I've got 100 Oral Hershiser cards that are not worth putting on COMC, but one of these Oral Hershiser guys might want them.
So you're probably have scenarios where you've hunted through a bin,
the stuff,
and then you decide certain things you're not going to send to COMC.
Well, again, we're talking about being an advanced. If you have 100 Oral Hershiser cards and you're thinking about putting them on COMC, it doesn't take very long to see if they're on COMC because you don't have to type in Oral Hershiser every time. You just you can see all the Oral Hershiser cards that are there, and you probably have some slick way to know exactly. But for me, even if I'm looking at a kind of the matrix of them, I can see. But somebody else would be able to. But scanning them is laborious.
Yeah, there's definitely items that are not worth putting through our services, and some things right now there may not be a cost-effective way to get them in the hands of someone that actually wants them. Maybe we'll have something in the future. Maybe some other company will come up with an interesting idea. I
appreciate you not overpromising. And I know you won't underdeliver, but no, I think it's a challenge, and it's an ongoing challenge. I made a huge mistake. I'm not. My goal is to not make very many mistakes and not make any mistakes twice. But apparently, the infallibility myth is I never really had much of that. But I was sending in a submission to COMC, and this had to be a few months ago. And it might have been right up the National or something. And I made a stack of cards these are the ones to send to COMC, and these are the ones to give to Rich. And they got flipped. So I wound up sending the bad ones to COMC, and then I just lately was going through, and I thought, there's no way I picked this out. There are 27 copies of this on there, and it's less than 30 cents. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to put it at 29 cents or something. So everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah.
Hopefully I won't do that again, but
that's not the worst story like that I've heard. Someone told me about several monster boxes that got flipped. And generally, if someone already has money in their account, if they're a regular user of the site, like you, we have like, I'm not sure why he sent these, but he must have a good reason.
Because this guy's really, it's counter-instinctual. He's zigging when everybody else is zagging. He's going to make it up on volume.
Something that
Loss leader, or that I'm trying to move up the leaderboards. But I have found that when I post my cards, generally if I post all of one player, it goes a lot faster. Or if you're posting all from one set. But a random group of cards that are bulked out, that's tricky. Yeah. That's tricky. And it I was mentioning last night about the friction. The friction is somebody has a box of dollar cards. If they sent them all into COMC, they would probably lose money. Okay. You would make money, but they would lose money because there's stuff there but as soon as they go to think, well, okay, I'm not going to send them all, and I'm going to send half of them. Well, which half? And I'm getting good at figuring out which ones can sell on COMC. Yeah. But that wasn't, I don't think it's just, I'm not unintelligent, but I also have this experience. And I can see now that staying with it. I've been a little more consistent the last few years.
And a lot of it is learning the COMC market. And that's one of the reasons why we discourage people from sending all their items at once to us. When they first start using our service, James Good, I think, described an excellent tactic of starting with some better cards that are going to sell.
No, James was an excellent guest and was I'm not but he also did say that we might, if somebody sent in stuff like that, we would kind of set it aside maybe, or tell them, do you really want to do this? And I always said, no.
Yeah, and honestly, we just recently changed how some of our team is structured so that we're going to have more people from customer service available as we're opening the packages. So right when we open a package, we're going to have some people there that we could escalate to and send off some communication, because we do get, on a daily basis, there's things that people send that we probably aren't going to be able to provide a good service. They're just not, they're not items that are worth going through all the efforts that we put through. So.
We're out of time, but can I have one more request as a advanced seller? This is, are you familiar with JCPenney retailing strategies and the Ron Johnson thing where Penny's always had sales and all that stuff, and he came and said, we're not going to have sales. We're going to do it like Apple did it, because he was the Apple retail executive. If you had sales for processing fees, so like February 29th, it's only going to happen once every 4 years. But if you did, I would
You would take advantage of that? Well, it's good to know that there's pent-up demand for a sale.
There's a pent-up closet.
I saw a little bit of that.
Especially on oversized cards.
Right now, actually, I mentioned some of the changes that we've been making to how we process cards. We went through a re-engineering process where our goal is to make our service more scalable. As the demand continues to rise for our service, we want to be able to keep up with that. And in doing so, potentially we will have opportunities to do more specials, I'm not going to say hold your breath, but, for example, I think this year at the National, we'll likely do more encouraging of people to send a lot of items on consignment. So we'll see how it goes.
Appreciate that. And as always, a pleasure, Tim. Thanks for being here. Look forward to continuing the relationship and the episodes. You've got some other members of your team I want to get on board as well. Enjoyed time with James, and you have a number of characters, as I did too, in my company back in the day. So it'll be fun to hear what they have to say. I doubt they'll contradict you, but they'll probably have interesting things to say. So again, thanks for being here. Thanks, listeners. Be back again tomorrow with another episode.